Welcome to the Money Watch Show. It's Saturday, March 22nd. And spring has sprung, ladies and gentlemen, and that may mean that you need to do a little spring cleaning and dusting off of your job search or your career. Or maybe you're really nervous about what's going on in the economy. Maybe you're a federal government worker. We've heard from so many of you. Maybe you're in an industry like, media. Hello. And you're nervous about what's happening. We are devoting today's show to figuring out how to manage your career. So let me bring on Mark Talercio. He is a certified financial planner, as am I, and he is the executive producer of this show, of the Jill on Money show, of Everything in My Life. Mark, remember when you used to have a career before you just kind of got sucked into Jill on Money land?
Vaguely.
Yeah. We are hearing from a lot of people who are nervous right now. Is that right?
That is true. Based on all the stuff that's coming into the inbox, yes, people are a little rattled.
And I think it makes sense that people are rattled. Of course, there's just been a lot of anxiety that is creeping through. There is a lot of worry about jobs. I mean, so far, the job market has held up okay. It really has. It's just that you get the sense that things could be changing. You know, it's funny. We recently released an episode that would be yesterday on our other show, our sister show, Jill on Money, with a economist named Diane Swonk. And so if you're not a listener of Jill on Money, you should go subscribe to that show. But, you know, one thing that she said, Mark, that really stuck in my mind was this idea that uncertainty creates hesitation. And that hesitation can like freeze you into doing nothing and just being really scared. And that rapid changes in policies can be destabilizing. So all of these things can happen. And that kind of, unfortunately, probably makes us a little bit less active in the places where we should be active. One of the things she also pointed out in our interview is that the three pillars of job growth since, say, the middle of 2023, which is state and local government hiring, education, leisure, and hospitality, that there's really been a little bit of a shift now. So I don't know what's going to happen in the labor market, but I thought this was as good a time as any to talk about managing a career. So one of the things that I think would be helpful would be to air the segment that I did earlier this month, actually, on CBS Mornings. Your anchors are Adriana Diaz and Dana Jacobson. We're talking about how you can prepare during an uncertain future, or maybe just looking for your next job opportunity. So let's air the segment. On the other side of this, Mark and I will discuss other things you should be thinking about. So Mark, cue that segment.
In today's Money Watch, whether you're looking for a new job or trying to get ahead with the one you have, there's a lot you have to think about. It's stressful. So you're thinking about from where to even start your search, negotiating a salary or a raise. And either way, we have you covered. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger is here to help you set you up for success. Jill, good morning.
Good morning. This is a tough one, right?
It is a tough one. So just to start, it doesn't feel like a good time necessarily to ask for a raise. The economy is in flux. A lot of companies are kind of battening down the hatches to wait to see what happens with the government. What's your advice to people who are looking for that raise?
Well, first of all, you absolutely have to understand the landscape. So, you know, you work in a government agency and you're worried about your job, that's not the time to say, like, no, but I really want to work from home. Like, you really have to understand that. You work in media, unless you're a certain type of person, maybe you're not going to get a raise. So it is very important to at least consider what is going on in the overall environment. You're not asking for a raise in the middle of a deep recession, but maybe in your industry specifically or at your company. I remember back in the financial crisis, I would hear from some people working at investment banks, and they said, you know, it's so unfair. I wanted a bigger bonus. I'm like, we almost saw your entire company go down the tube, so you're not getting a bigger bonus.
Some people may be saying, I'm just going to get out of the government altogether. I have to look elsewhere. Maybe they had jobs before, but maybe not. What's the best advice for people, and it's not just government people, who might be looking in industries that they know nothing about? And that comes to salary, too, because you don't know the ranges.
Yes. Well, the good news is there's so much information out there. So you're going to have to conduct some research. And I know this is a little bit daunting, but it's kind of fun also. And, you know, you're going to see, like, what are the industries that are growing? And it's very easy to do this. You can go to places like LinkedIn and Glassdoor, and you want to research whatever you think you want to go to. You also want to update your own online presence, clean up that social media, maybe turn some things to private. And I think it's important to weigh the pros and cons. I glossed over that. You want to weigh.
Delete those spring break photos.
Yeah, but also if people have been, let's say you've been working in the government for a long time, and you haven't done a job search in 20 years,
right.
The landscape really has changed, and there is more information out there. So figure that out. And if you're going to be a career switcher, you can't go in saying, oh, I was getting paid $90,000 here. You're starting over. Maybe you have to go back to $60,000. So really be clear about that.
So you talk about, really having a framework that you've created in your book, The Great Money Reset, and you have an acronym to help people do this, which is BULLY.
Yeah, okay, well, in a good way, bully. Okay, let me be clear.
Not the bad one.
Okay, so when you get all that research, maybe you've gone to Glassdoor and LinkedIn and you got that, but I think the B is bully up your ask, meaning you got to do your research. You have to clarify what you want. Do you want to be working in a managerial position? Do you want the sales position? Do you want to understand the full picture, which we just talked about? We also want you to be very clear that you got to lose your ego sometimes. Yeah. You really do. It's very hard, but we want you to make sure that you understand where your boss is coming from. Your boss may be feeling pressure that you don't understand. Leave time to practice your conversations. This is especially important if you're young and you're going in to talk to somebody who's older. Go talk to your parents, their friends, do some mock interviewing. Yeah. And the why is don't yuck it up. What do I mean by that? Guys, no ultimatums. I've never met a situation and heard about a situation where someone bangs on the desk and says, I demand a raise or else. Even if you get that raise, I promise you at the next time there's a downsizing, you're going to be at the top of the list. When you're making this job shift, the thing that I've switched careers 3 times. Okay, this is my 3rd career and last, by the way. And what I can tell you is give yourself some grace. You're not going to know everything. It's really scary. Make sure you've got that emergency reserve fund built up and understand that it's a process. And even though we are seeing job creation in lots of different industries, you have to just give yourself a little bit of time to figure out where you're going next.
I mean, I think one thing that we find is that actually getting in touch with your own financial security is really important because maybe, there are times we talk to people and we're like, well, you're in great shape. You could take a different kind of job. When you manage a career, it's not just about maximizing dollars. What about the guy we talked to who was a disabled veteran who's like, I'm so under stress and I need to change my work life. And he just kind of wanted permission to do that. So I think getting in touch with where you stand financially is a very big first step. It really is.
Emergency reserve, right? Having that runway?
Yeah, having a runway, but also like if you're looking at your long-term retirement planning options and you've got a good chunk of money saved and you're in a job that you really despise, you might give yourself permission to do something different as long as you know that you're on track to make sure your kids have enough money to go to school or that you can retire. So that's, I think, very important. When I talked about conducting research, I think that this is something that people must do. There's so many places, it's Glassdoor, there's LinkedIn, there's Reddit, like just arm yourself with information and make sure that you understand what else is out there before you go out and, just sort of say, I'm going to jump in blind and start applying. Now, Mark, listen to this. I don't think we did this on the segment. There was research that showed that employees are willing to accept a 25% pay cut for partly or fully remote roles. What do you think about that? Does that surprise you?
No, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, I would definitely, if I was in that type of in the workforce like that, I would definitely take a pay cut to work fully remote for sure.
And also, we have so many people who have called us and come on the air with us, and they've got side hustles, which is great. It's like freelance, side hustle, whatever you want to call it. Before you just say, I'm going to do that full time, don't forget to make sure that you've got health insurance, right? That you have, maybe you've gone and explored the Affordable Care Act, that you've got some sort of plan for retirement, that you have life and disability insurance. All of those things matter when you are trying to bridge the gap of going from a full-time employment with a organization that provides those benefits and just doing it yourself. So I'm hopeful that maybe the job market is going to be okay. But even if it's not, I think if you're the most secure person, I would always have my network fired up. And, networking is not about just saying, what can you do for me? It's about making sure you have a really nice connection with somebody that you can talk to and just like maintain a relationship. Have that network, meaning just like a friend group, relationships that you develop over time, and make sure that the people that can help you, that you're also saying, you pay it forward, you help them. And I think that is something that's very critical to you're feeling more confident in your own career path. Just having people around you who are going to be willing to help you out. Mark, you have me and Jackie.
That's about it.
No, you have other people. Listen, there are things that I know and that you could do. Like I always say to Mark, what would you do if I dropped dead? That's why you have a $10 million life insurance policy on me, right, Mark?
That's right, yes. Oh.
You should have done that a long time ago. Now I'm old.
Now it's too expensive.
I know.
Honest to God, if it ever came to that, like, my entire career has been media, but I want nothing to do with that industry.
You think if something happened to me, like I dropped dead tomorrow, that you would leave media? You wouldn't go like work for the Compound? You wouldn't go what would you do? You go work in for financial planning firm? I
would try. I mean, I always tell myself, like, I have something that not many people have. Like, I have the CFP credential, right?
Yeah.
I would somehow I would try to put that to use and utilize it.
I think that would be great. Go for it, man. All right, I'm going to stick around for a little while.
Thank you.
I really am.
Thank you. 15 years? That's all.
15.
Not even. I'll give you
maybe 15
12,
months.
12.
15 months would be great. So listen, gang, if you've got a question and you're on a career search, or maybe you're considering a job that pays a lot less than you have, or maybe you're worried that the job that pays you a lot is a job that's going to make you kind of miserable. Like, I think real life counts, gang. I'm sorry. I do. I am not the queen of maximizing every dollar. You have to know yourself, and maybe we can make these numbers work for you. Get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the contact us button, write us a note. If you'd like to join us live on the air, then Mark will do everything else. See, because he's so good. All right. Don't forget, you can subscribe to us on the Odyssey app, where you can also subscribe to this show as well as our Jill on Money show. We drop our episodes of Money Watch on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. Don't forget to do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.